Hello. Hello. Today we'll be continuing from where we left off, because Streamlabs I think stopped working halfway through, or was it YouTube? I don't know. But anyways, we're just gonna continue from playing the last part of step 2 and then playing wolves and then entering through to step 3. So yeah. Oh, okay. It works. Oh jeez. I knew I should have not made too much. I should have not put so much coffee powder. Because I'm not used to coffee. The hills felt warm to you that night. Before you knew it, you were getting comfortable under the covers in your room. Your mind couldn't help but still be buzzing with thoughts about the future. You felt... I'm gonna go with unsure. Let me just have a sip of water. A new chapter of your life was about to begin, and no one could say what it was going to be like. Slowly, your eyes grew heavy as you drifted off to sleep, your mind spinning with wishful thoughts. No matter what happened next, you could only hope that you would make the most of it. You were ensnared with a dream when a noise from the outside world jostled you. Oh, is it Cove again? Yeah. The light clatter continued. Now that you were more alert, you could distinguish it as a tapping sound. Quiet, slow, but persistent. Each beat was like being poked. Each beat was like being poked. You couldn't ignore it. You lifted your head from the pillow and looked for the source. Not much work was needed to puzzle it out. It was from the window. With that, you knew exactly what it was. From the color of the light filtering into your room, it was too early for anyone to be awake. To be awake, including the sun. It had barely hauled itself over the horizon, but that didn't stop some people, it seemed. You sat up in bed and opened the window wide. Cool air, not yet warmed by the day, tickled your face as it pushed into your room. And just as you expected, there was your neighbor crouching on your windowsill. He was fully dressed, though not for school. Oh god. He was wearing a wetsuit with a fond smile. Hi, Airi. Oh god. You sat back, blinking. So technically, we won't be back to school for a few more hours. You're quite right. His voice was delicate yet deliberate, each word a careful explanation. Classes haven't started yet, so do you want to hit the beach with me one more time this summer? Here we go again. That's way. Let me save it. Here we go again. Your comment was half-hearted and you both knew it. Only Cove would think of something like this, and that was part of what made him special to you. Cove chuckled conspiratorially. Bloody hell. Conspiratorially. Jesus, that word. Man, English is hard. His smile widening. You rushed to get changed into something suitable, while Cove climbed back down to ground level. Man, does coffee do something to your throat? Because my voice is sort of raspy right now. Your limbs, still half asleep, struggled somewhat as you attempted to coordinate them into a swimsuit. But you got there in the end. I'm wearing a swimsuit? Oh, that's... Soon, you were tiptoeing out of your front door, clutching a towel. Cove was already there to greet you. Your eyes met. Cove's gaze darted to your destination and back to you. You checked the door was closed, gave him a thumbs up, and the two of you leapt into action. Wordlessly, you began to run down the familiar path ahead, Cove beside you. The thrill of your illicit outing made you want to laugh. Not that you did. If anyone in your family looked out and saw you, then your summer would be back to being over. One glance at Cove told you that he was exactly the same, holding back snickers for fear of being heard and caught. Okay then. The towel streamed out from under your arm like a cape. You were running so fast, downhill, that simply keeping your balance and not tumbling down was a real threat. Yeah, is this music a bit loud? Can't tell. It just wasn't enough for one to make you slow your pace. For every step you took, the beach was a little closer, and the day a little brighter. What laid ahead for you would arrive, and you were happy to meet it. And we're finally done with step 2. We weren't even that far from the ending. That was the spoon in my cup. Should I change my appearance? No. Wait, did I skip? No. Ooh, Miku now. Yeah, you know, I'll just keep it the same. Change page. Change page again. I did wear braces during high school. Wasn't very long though. None. Yeah. Yeah, I'm done with this one. Relax. No. Let's go with Crush. Wait, I'm gonna say first. Can't believe I've done this. Yes. Oh god, I don't even know. Should I like keep it? This looks cool too. What do I choose? Eeny? Why do I keep using this method? Why do I keep using the eeny meeny method? It's not gonna work. Let's just keep it like that. Glasses. You could wear Should I give him glasses? Maybe no glasses. For now. Maybe no glasses at all. Let's keep the shirt like that. Pants. That's weird. That's still weird. I mean that kinda suits. Either the green, black, or the jeans. I'm gonna go with the jeans. Left to wrist. Oh, that looks cool. Let's just keep that right wrist. What does this? Ooh, pretty. Oh, that looks cool too. Let's go with this one. Necklace. Oh, it's either that the anchor necklace or no necklace. Here. Wait, I could change here. No. Let's just keep it like that. Glasses. I mean, you'd probably need glasses when you're sleeping, right? Not when you're sleeping, when you're at home, right? Right? Maybe just give them glasses. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay then. Let's go with this one. No. I'm not used to looking shirtless characters at all. Okay, let's quickly change. I don't think you need glasses for swimwear. Swim one, just keep it blue. Wait, did he wear red glasses? Yes, he did. I did give him red glasses. Wait. Okay. Shirt one. Yeah, let's just keep it like that. Done. What did I... Maybe next? Yeah, that one. Done. Since you're romantically interested in Cove and are old enough to start being physically affectionate, yay? Affectionate more seriously, you can choose what initiative level he has throughout step 3. Making sure the player experiences what they want is important in our life, but always putting your choice first can intentionally make a relationship feel one-sided. So we've added some flexibility in how it works out. Low initiative means that Cove will occasionally ask to touch the MC. And in those situations, there will always be an opportunity to say yes or no. For example, he won't simply lean over and kiss the MC as a greeting or in an emotional moment. Every piece of physical interaction will be either initiated or approved by the player before it happens. I see. Middle initiative means there will be those choices those certain times when Cove requests to touch the MC, many chances to initiate affection on your own, and also Cove will be pretty regularly give affection automatically. I see. One example would be giving the MC a kiss because he is happy or emotional or something else. And in other situations, you can choose not to take the first move in order to give Cove the space to be the one to act afterwards. Let me just save again. Wait. Yes. Overall, Cove can get romantic, but the player's agency will take priority. High initiative includes everything middle does, but it also means the player agency will be reduced to a degree in favor of having Cove give physical affection even more frequently with less prompting. Instead of the major affection-giving situations being led by a choice menu for you to decide on, some will instead be replaced by Cove acting automatically. Oh, I see. This level is only recommended if you're very comfortable with physical affection and would prefer to simply see it happen rather than always holding the reins on it. Well, that's interesting. However, this level is mostly relevant if Cove ends up as your official boyfriend at some point. Situations where high-level initiative makes a difference tend to come up in scenes that are exclusive to being in a relationship. The parts that are also included in the middle initiative will be seen whether you're dating or not. Once you pick your level, it can't be changed later, so keep your full playthrough in mind when deciding. We hope you enjoy whichever initiative option you decide on. Which one do I choose? Low, middle, or high? Kinda want to go with high for curiosity's sake. Let's go with high. I should save that to a different file for now. Wait, what's two? Oh, nothing set. Okay. The start of classes ended the relaxed, free days of summer. It didn't take long for you to get back into the swing of the school year routine. Schedules and homework became the new normal. Not surprised. Derek wasn't around nearly as much. With school and after-school activities, there weren't many opportunities for him to take the trip out to your neighborhood. Ouch. Sometimes you'd hear that he was at a training camp or something like that, but you weren't always sure what he was up to. Yeah. The Jeremy kid did disappear after that summer, and no one ever heard from him again. Where he went or what he might be up to was a mystery. More summers came and went like the waves on the shore, coming in and out. In your second year of high school, someone new started to visit Sunset Bird, a sunny girl named Terry Brooke. She was a friend of Cove made due to them both being ocean obsessed. I see, so we have another ocean fanatic. Terry was more than glad to befriend you two. Someone close to Cove had to be good company, she felt. You were pleased to get along with her as well. Terry was tight with another girl who you had known distantly from school for a long time, Miranda Eckert. You saw more and more of her as time went on, thanks to Terry and Miranda's own outreach. After a while, all of you developed a real friendship together. Nice to have some more friends over time. As for your home life, the Briggs also had developments. Changing laws and public perception countrywide made it possible for your mums to openly wear their wedding rings without questions. Though they Though they had a wedding years ago, it was only recently that the union was officially recognized everywhere in the US. That was a good day, to say the least. I can agree with that. Elizabeth came into her own and stopped being quite as irritatable. She'd no longer worried about perceived childness as she grew up for real. She didn't even mind being called Lizzie again, although most people used Liz. She eventually graduated high school and moved out to attend college in another state. It was a lot for you to adjust to your older sister being gone. Liz never let you forget her role in your life, though, and kept in touch. Cove's relationship with his family improved over the years. Oh, that's good. Kyra visited several times after that summer, and things became easier between the two. He was also closer with his dad than ever before. You knew they talked more, and that helped prevent a lot of friction before it could start. Cove had become so much more outgoing than when you had first met him. He was so bright he shone. At least he doesn't seem as sad as he used to now. Let me just have another sip. He would willingly join conversations, make jokes, and put in an effort not to use overly blunt phrasing. I see. Cove's interest has shifted from when he was younger. He still enjoyed athletic activities on occasion, but now he gave time to more studious endeavors as well. Cove's interest had shifted from when he was younger. He still enjoyed more studious pursuits, but he also spent just as much time on athletic activities. It's good to have a balance on those two things. Let me just save again. Things had shifted between you and Cove. You had been friends for years, but the closer you became, the more you felt for him. You didn't view him in a purely platonic way anymore. It was strange to look back on it all. The future faded into your present and it was simply the past. Even the most fundamental parts of your life couldn't last forever. You felt that the most pointedly the day you inevitably graduated high school. I know that feel. I still remember my days when I was just a year, where I was still in my first year of high school. And I was a nervous wreck back then. It was over, and you would not be going back ever again. From now on, what next was your choice. You would be directing your own life. Man, that's always gonna be really... That part kinda scares me still, from time to time. That was where you were currently. The summer after school had ended, the first summer of true freedom. Is it really though? What used to be a reprieve from the typical was now going to be your first step into adulthood. Yay! I want to be a child again, please. Can I be a child again? One fine summer morning, you took in what had become a very special scene. The whole family having a meal together. Yay! A family meal. Your big sister Liz still hadn't lived at home full. Your big sister Liz still hadn't lived at home full time for a couple of years, but she arrived last week to spend the season here since it was an off semester for her. She wanted to make sure she was in town because you had now also graduated from high school. So who knew how much rarer these moments would become in the future. Yeah, cherish those moments, guys, because it'll be a long time to see your close, those you care about again. man, I kind of miss seeing my friends every day, but now we only get to like meet each other like once in a few months and stuff, like once in every few months, like always around December to January, because that's when we don't have like school anymore. Like that's basically our holiday. So yeah. But yes, always cherish your friends and family, guys, because you'll never know when it's the last time you see them, when it's the last time that you'll see them, and that got kind of ominous at the end. You watched on as Liz laughed good-naturedly over a comment Ma made. Her Elizabeth-only mindset had only been a phase. Nearly any nickname was welcomed at this point in her life. This is like me with my actual name, with my real name. Yeah. People would keep like mispronouncing my name and when I was a child, so I used to like correct them but now I'm like, close enough, good enough. You met my name right. Good. So yeah. So yeah, these days I really don't care how people pronounce my name now. Although it's rare for people to mispronounce my name, so yeah. Is this music a bit loud? I feel like it is. Let me just... Strangely, even though she moved away, you'd lately felt closer to her than you had in a long time. You idly scooped up more of your breakfast and chewed absent-mindedly. Oh, I like meat. I don't think I can live being a vegetarian. I like meat a bit too much. And the meal you had reflected that. It included just about everything your mums had made, though you often made your own food nowadays. With Liz around, though your parents made even more options than usual. Your sister had been vegetarian for a while, and they wanted to make sure she had choices too. Oh nice, Liz is a vegetarian now. I can respect that. Conversation had gone idly, without you fully taking in the words until your ears were piqued when Ma started on a bit of town gossip. Ooh, town gossip. So that's how I heard the news. Alright, now stop burying the lead and tell us. What is this so-called news? Ma giggled as she cast a look across the table, satisfied that she had everyone's attention. Well, it turns out the Donalds won't be renting out the condo up the street as per Sunset Bird tradition, for the first time in what must be nearly 2 decades. Oh, finally, those old people are not. The elderly couple was not at that place anymore. A chorus of gasps and shocked expressions were had all around. After the initial shock, your eyebrows pinched. Ma may consider them by name, but you and Liz always viewed them exclusively as the mean old couple who would yell at anyone under 25 who crossed their paths. Your Ma continued with the story, spreading strawberry jam over a piece of toast as she did so. Hold up, let me do something. They've decided not to take big trips anymore. Friends and family will be visiting them at their home. Oh, they must have got a bit too old to even travel anymore. Ouch. That's nice for them. Then, have a good summer means... what? How do I phrase this? That's nice for them then. For them. Then... Have a good summer mean grandparents with no grandkids away from us. Yeah, let's go with this one. They've had a very full life. It's nothing to sneeze at. And you be nice, Liz. You don't want to end up like them, do you? You and your sister cracked smiles at the joke.
Well?
At least they won't be here to yell at my children anymore. Lonnie! And that blunt comment got laughter from all three of you. Engrossed in conversation once more, you continued to chat with your family until the meal was over. Step 3. Third time's the charm. As it went, once the food was eaten, the cleanup had to be done. Liz took the role of washing the dishes and passed them to you for drying and putting away. You had a set of cups in front of you that needed to go on the top shelf of the cabinet. Yeah, I'm going with this one. I'm pretty sure in real life too. I need a stepping stool to help me with that stuff. That was simply a lot in your life. You'd always been vertically challenged. Yeah, I don't really think about this much though. I mean, it's just a consequence for not doing enough exercise and stuff, and not enough and drinking not enough milk, I guess. Oh, not sleeping enough too. Apparently that stunts your growth as well. Oh well. A part of yourself was never something you could really figure out your thoughts on. Liz shook you out of your internal musing by starting up an impromptu conversation. She seemed to be voicing the thoughts that had been buzzing in her own head. I have to say, going back for another semester this fall is pretty intimidating. You'd think after the first year of 2, I'd have a handle on things, but no. Yeah, that's me. That's me. You think you've gotten used to something, but then really, oh no, wait, no. You think you figured things out, but no, you really haven't just yet. You stole a glance at her, still placing cups in the proper place. I guess it's only fair. My first round was pretty general classes, and year 1 of my architecture major was the basics. Now it feels serious. I have to actually know some things. I can relate to Liz on that. Oh my god. First year of like university, it was just the basics of how to use like certain Adobe softwares like Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, what else, and Premiere Pro. But now I'm up to like, now it's like my 3rd year. I actually have to know some things now. By now. Kinda sucks that I still don't quite remember how to actually use a laser cutter properly. The laugh she gave was flippantly airy, but the way she scrubbed at the plates held more force than necessary. I'd agree with her, to be fair. There wasn't much you could add to it. Your older sister's mouth quirked into a small smile. It'll be fine, one way or another. Oh, but I'm not trying to scare you away from college, if that's even your plan. What's going on with that? What is going on with that anyway? I'll go with this one, because I kinda have a general idea. It's not quite as concrete. Oh, I don't know. I'll go with this. You answered the question as much as you were able and willing to. Liz's smile grew more reassuring as you did. You made it through 12 years of full-time education already. You've got plenty going on for you. Sometimes it still felt hard to believe your public schooling experience was over, In the end, you had no. I definitely did not graduate at the top of my class. I'll just go with average, but yeah. I don't think I passed my NCEAs or something. Or maybe I did, but I just thought I didn't. Cause like, god, last time I checked my credits were actually pretty low. Due to certain classes that I wasn't as good as, like English. I'm not good at like writing like stuff like what was the author's intention to write this or something like that. I just don't think about the stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, the story's good. I had fun reading it. I just never think what the author's his intention about why they wrote this or whatever. Or what is the relationship of this and this, of character A and character B? What is the symbolism in there? And I just don't like answering those questions. I'm like, just don't think so much. Don't think at all. Let's see, what was the question? I rambled too much. Oh jeez. Yeah, I'll go with this. You passed, it was fine, and now you could do what you wanted with your time. Liz picked up on the silence her question ended up creating. She decided it was time to make a closing statement on that topic.
You're a good girl.
You're a good girl, Airi. Do what's best for you, and we'll be here to back it up. Aw, thank you, Liz. Thanks, Liz. I haven't measured, but she's really pretty. At that, Liz happily passed the final dish your way. She waved a soapy, soaked hand as a farewell and moved onto her next task for the cleanup job. You refocused on getting the last pieces put back where they belonged. You eventually moved on a new chore, but that was interrupted by the sound of your cell phone. Yeah, I just do that. Or I just mute it completely. I don't like sound. I don't like having sound on my phone, like a ringtone, because it's just annoying. You casually picked it up from the table where you had placed it earlier. The phone was a couple years old at this point, having been a 16th birthday gift from your parents. Oh my god, that's like my old phone. I now have a new phone, but my old phone lasted for that long as well. They decided which model to get, but you got to pick the color. It was... Oh, I get to choose? Okay, what was my phone before? What was my old phone? It was like something like rose gold. Let's just save that for now. Rose gold it is. And it was just a phone. You didn't do... Yeah, I didn't do much to decorate it. I just changed the wallpapers and that was all. The screen lit up as you gave the little device a swipe with one finger. You were informed by the caller ID that it was Lee. You weren't surprised at all. Hey, it's Lee. Despite having busier and busier times and not living in the same town, you still had a good relationship with your cousin of the same age. Especially once the miracle of both of you having your own phones actually happened. She got hers first though. Tapping at the accept button, you answered her call. A familiar, bubbly voice came through right after.
Hi!
Hey, Airi. Hiya. I trust I'm not interrupting anything major. Only some cleaning around the house. Oh, and she looks pretty too, and your friend glowed up. Oh, then you're welcome for my call. A distraction from what must have been desperately needed. Yes, thank you, my dear cousin. Hey, I love doing chores, you joked. think I wouldn't really say anything. She giggled, and you could hear the jangling of the jewellery she must be wearing. Nothing amazing is happening to me either. I'm bored and felt like chatting. My morning shift ended, so I'm free for the rest of the day. Woo. That's good. Did I have a... I mean, I did paper delivery. If that even counts as a part-time job. It's a very relaxing part-time job. Just fold papers and then walk around the street just to deliver them in letterboxes. And then while listening to music. It's very relaxing on a good day, not so relaxing when it's like raining or something. So let's go with... Yes, I do have a part-time, but it's literally just folding papers and delivering them. Like you, Lee had started dipping her toes into the workforce as of late. It made keeping in touch frequently even more complicated, but you both manage. Nice. What about you? It's been pretty normal.
Cool.
Cool, that's you then. So, how's Mr. Cove Holden doing? Oh, she must know. There was a teasing bent to her tone. She was never willing to let up on what was going on between the two of you. Man, she must ship the two of us real hard, huh? But that name was incredibly familiar to your ears. Cove, your next door neighbor for the past decade at this point. Wow, that's direct. Yeah, let's go with this one. What you had was special, whatever it was. Are you even surviving without the boy being 10 feet away at all times, or is everything right in the world again and he's back? No, Lee. He isn't here, just like he wasn't here yesterday, or the last time you asked, or the time before that. Oh, that's right, he must be out visiting his mum at Nevada, I think.
Sorry.
Oh, my bad. Can you blame me? Doesn't it seem like he should have made his grand return already? Plus, I want to visit soon, and he needs to be there too. You could understand where she was coming from. This was certainly outside the norm. For the past couple months, and the last few weeks especially, Cove had been going to his mum's place in Nevada. Wonder what Nevada's like. The two of you still regularly stayed in contact over text and calls, but still, your mind began to drift back in time to all the prior trips he had taken to visit her. Almost every year he'd have to go away for a while and then he'd be back. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, all I can do is probably just text him or something. If I had a close friend that does this all the time. Well, not all the time, like once every year. It felt as though time was standing still during those days. Your life only moved forward when you saw his face in person again. He sent you letters would make things a teeny bit better. That's how it was in the past, but lately he had been trying to see her as much as he could before taking long trips to another state became too impractical to do. Yeah, as you grow older, you have less time to do things that you want to do. Or you usually do. Kinda sucks. His part-time work could become full-time soon, or he could be moving somewhere else for school. Cove hadn't actually been entirely clear what his plans were after graduation. Cove was hesitant to speak on that even with you. It couldn't be avoided forever, though you both knew that.
Well?
Maybe we should switch this up with a non-Cove related topic. Wow. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I agree. The rest of the conversation rolled on. Not much longer, though Lee had to go, and you needed to finish your responsibilities around the house. The both of you exchanged goodbyes, then you went back to what you'd been working on before the call came in. As you wrapped up the last of your chores, you were approached by Liz wearing a cheeky smile. Oh no. Oh, okay. I've got Mum's keys. Wanna get out of this tiny town and do some shopping in a real city? That sounds great. Good, I'm driving. I don't want to drive at all. I actually don't really like the idea of driving, just because there's so much going on the traffic. And it's just like, no, I prefer to just sit at the back and just listen to music while staring at the distance like some anime character. Yes. Seems far more relaxing than actually driving. It's just too stressful. I prefer to have the least amount of oh god, my thoughts are not. I prefer to have less stress as possible, the least amount of stress as possible. Go get your wallet and anything else, we're going now. It's like that meme of like, get in bitches, we're going shopping, or whatever that meme was. With a nod, you made a quick detour to collect your stuff from your bedroom. You had money saved up from all that part-time work you'd done, as well as gifts you'd received. After making sure you both were fully prepared for the long haul to the largest city in the surrounding area, you buckled into the car. It was a smooth ride there, with light conversation about what shops to stop and at the radio blasting. Liz controlled what was played, but she made sure to pick songs she knew you liked. It was something the two of you had always done for each other. Yeah, like I did at that one time when Liz was feeling kinda gloomy about that whole playdate house grown up situation with Cove. Yeah, after that argument. The trip there breezed by, and in what felt like no time, you had gone from cruising down the road to cruising through the mall. Liz had her interests checked out, and you yours. I feel like that's a typo of something. And yours too. Your hobbies is yeah, it's still like this. I like used to draw. I drew a lot when I was younger, and then like people were like, oh yeah, you should become an artist or something. And now I kind of study something art related. Although I don't think I want it to be a job. It doesn't sound as fun. I've kind of realized that. Did you know I used to want to be like a comic artist after reading like a manga called Bakugan? Not Bakugan, it's like Bakuman. It's about like these two boys who become like comic artists or manga artists. And they become popular over time and stuff. I don't know. I barely remember on what goes on now. So yeah. It's been a while since I've read it, but man, that was like the first manga that actually inspired me to be like, I want to be a comic artist and draw manga in Japan. Until I realized how the industry there worked. Man, I feel bad for them, so I was like, yeah, maybe not. I don't think I can work with that kind of stress. When turning a corner down a new length of the mall, your eyes caught on a little gift store. Ooh! Your friends and family had recently given you many presents for graduating high school. Wait, I don't know what to choose. Let's just go with this one. It was something you had... No, I didn't really do this one with my friends though. It feels weird if I click on something that I didn't do. Let's go with this thing. It was thoughtful of them. Eventually, the mall was explored in full, with every shop of note being checked over. Rather than going home, you decided to walk over to some smaller stores nearby. Liz had so many thoughts on that topic.
So?
Honestly, malls are not a bastion of society. Even the smaller stores require extra distance. The brands are so much more. Then your sister abruptly stopped speaking and walking right in the middle of the path. It was a good thing no one was behind her. She seemed to entirely shut off for a moment. Liz? The attempt to catch her attention was unsuccessful. Something else had all her focus. Before you could puzzle out what might be happening, she began to mumble out of the corner of her mouth. Airi, don't draw attention, but look. What? With a harsh whisper and a subtle jerk of her head, she urged you once more.
Hey!
Look! You followed her gaze as best as you could to a lunch bunch of colorful teens strolling down the same path. Okay. Your face backed over to your sister with a confused expression and an unspoken question. What were you supposed to be seeing there? Airi, doesn't one of them seem familiar? She was practically bouncing at this point, so you looked over the group again, and this time you saw what she was seeing. It's Shiloh! Amongst the collection of strangers was brown hair, grey eyes, and lots of freckles. It's Shiloh! Oh my lord! He still wears a hat too! That's Shiloh! Our Shiloh! From when we were kids! Yep, that was definitely him. I can't believe it. He's honestly just there. That's hilarious. That's incredible. Oh, but how do we talk to him? We'd have to pull him away from all those other people, and what if I'm wrong? Your mouth opened to reply, but she cut it off from her own answer to the question. I've got it. I'll shout the name Shiloh, and then we can act like it wasn't us if he responds to that. We'll know without a doubt it's him. Airi, keep an eye on us to see if he looks. I wouldn't know what to choose in this situation. Let's go with this. Without even needing a confirmation from you, Liz put her plan into action. Shiloh! She loudly projected the word across the way, then pulled out an act of casualness, turning her head away from the scene while brushing at the skirt of her dress. In a supremely awkward moment, you could only stand there as attention in the area shifted to the two of you thanks to your sister's shout. But the many startled bystanders who became altered to your presence, one of them was the boy. From a distance, his eyes met yours. He looked. A wide grin took over Liz's face. She pushed the rim of her sun hat up and away from her face while swishing back around to greet her old friend directly. Shiloh! Waving, she stepped a bit closer to express her intention to meet without really closing the gap. She wanted him to come over to her. I don't think... Who you presume to be Shiloh looked surprised at the call out. He stole a quick glance at the crowd he was with and hesitantly glanced back your way. He was trying to double check something. Liz remained steadfast with her gaze trained on him, and ultimately he broke away from the rest of them. After a light-footed jog across the brick path, the young man pleasantly presented himself in front of you, Liz, and you.
Hi!
Hi, I like your hat. Just that simple greeting had Liz giggling.
Hey!
Hello, I'm not sure if you remember this, but I'm Lizzie and that's Airi. We were all friends when we were little kids. His already wide eyes grew even larger, their gaze darting between you and Liz. His previously chipper demeanor faded into something delicate. I'm really sorry, but I think you have the wrong person. No, we can't, it can't be. I don't think. You could tell not being instantly recognized was going to make this exchange more of a challenge. Still, Liz was undeterred. It was a long time ago. You were really young. I get why you felt like that. However, I'm positive I'm right. You're exactly the same. That face, the freckles, how genially? What is that word? Genially you tried to phrase things. You're even still wearing a hat. Instinctively, you looked up at his headwear with creased eyebrows, not making the connection of why the hat meant something to her.
Okay.
We knew each other, okay? An uneasy smile settled on him as a silence followed Liz's speech. He was picking his next words carefully. Don't tell me he doesn't remember her. And then the quiet was obliterated by a new voice bursting into the conversation. Shiloh, what are you doing? The rest of the group already left. A field trip is not a vacation. We're on a schedule. Oh, shit, man. Startled, your head snapped towards the path. A distinctly unhappy individual with piercing magenta eyes, dark brown skin, and a sharp jaw storms your way. Oh no. He carried a cloud of authority with him, despite looking like he wasn't even 18 yet. Sorry, I didn't mean to ditch. Shiloh, whose name was officially confirmed, gestured with a hand to add the explanation of his absence as the stranger watched impatiently. They thought they recognized me as someone they knew, but it was a tiny misunderstanding. No, your name is definitely Shiloh. Liz theoretically as well as literally put her foot down at that, stomping and frustrating, and getting more childish the longer she was around her childhood companion.
Come on.
We do know you. Shiloh merely shrunk in on himself. The tone he spoke with was pained. I should learn how to speak a little slower because I'm running out of breath again. And drink more water. Sorry. You honestly couldn't tell if he was apologizing for the upset feelings of your sister or the palpable dissatisfaction of his new acquaintance. That in itself was very Shiloh-like. Yeah, good point. Oh, you know him. Is that it? The stranger spoke in a dismissively scoffing tone, as if the words sounded so absurd to him. It was almost amusing. Almost. But the sternness of his demeanor quickly reinstated itself. Well, do you know me? I'll tell you. I'm someone who has been forced against his will to be aware of what's going on in Shiloh's ridiculous personal life. For a year. Who the frick are you? If the two of you had any importance in this general day-to-day existence, it would have come up by now. Don't bother trying to exaggerate any trivial connection you might have. It's not good enough. He's with us, and you'll survive without him. Now stop loitering in the road. It's rude. Oh, man.
Excuse me?
Excuse me? We're the rude ones? The high-strung grunting got an audible gasp from Shiloh, who finally started to speak up again in defense. Nate, that's really mean. It's also true, we're leaving. With that declaration, the unofficially introduced Nate indignantly spun on his heels and walked speedily towards where the group went, completely confident that Sheila would follow behind. Pardon again. People can sure have bad attitudes, huh? Why can't they just try get along? It's not that hard. Don't worry though, I bet you won't have to deal with him again. And I'm sorry I can't stay to talk to you, but I hope you have a really nice life.
Bye.
Bye! Ah, Shiloh, as polite as usual. And that was it. His final parting words given. Shiloh left, the two of you behind to catch up with his own life that he had to go live. Liz watched his exit stunned, only to frown when it hit her that he was really gone as quickly as he appeared. It happened so fast you hadn't even been able to get a word in. She sighed, all the energy she built up releasing with the breath. Oof, poor Liz. I could have told him his last name was Fields. His birthday is October 30th. That would have proved it, but no. I would just comment on. I wouldn't comment at all actually. Let's go with this. He had no other words for what had just unfolded. Do you want to go catch up with him? Liz merely shook her head, pushing off childish thoughts. I think we could leave in here, thanks. He's in the middle of a high school field trip, and it was already enough being able to see him. There's something reassuring about witnessing firsthand that he's still out there, enjoying his own part of the world. Though, if given the chance, I could definitely have a few words with him about the company he got. Yeah, I agree. He's got some bad company. She laughed, but you could tell there wasn't much humor to it. She was mad at that guy, even if she was happy to let Shiloh go. Maybe they're only with each other because of the trip, and it's not usually how things are.
Right?
True, we can only hope the same for him as he did for us. Have a nice life, Shiloh. Yeah, have a nice life. Wait, what's the other option? Yeah, I'll go with this one. Liz smiled at you. It had the self-confidence you knew so well from her. Come on, little baby sister. Let's finish our own trip. Yeah. No matter how either of you really felt about the occurrence, it was something you simply had to accept. People you know just disappear and reappear in the most unexpected ways. Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? I still see my old classmates from primary school, and it gets really awkward. You're like, ah, frick, you still live here? I do too. The two of you enjoyed what remained of your outing until it was time to return home. By the time you arrived back, the sun was already beginning to set. You arched your back as you stretched your arms towards the ceiling. While it had been a good day, it had enough activity to cover an entire week. Liz tried to hide a yawn behind her hands. You weren't the only one feeling worn out. Yeah, I'd feel worn out after a trip like that. After a day of walking around the mall, looking at whatever you needed, and then just then somehow seeing like one of your old friends or classmates or whatever. I'll be heading up to your room. I mean the guest room, since mine stopped being available as soon as I was out of the door. Her tone was light. She had quite a lot to say on the subject when you first taken over her bigger room after she left for college, but there had been many trips back home for her since then. The room hasn't been her for years. It was more of a running joke now that she continued to bring the topic up to this day. That's good too. It's good to have a good relation. It's good to have a good relationship with your siblings after like being annoying with them, then getting along with them, and then kind of hating each other for like years on end. You kind of get used to each other to the point you're just like existing, I guess. Oh man, I'm rambling again. Oh well. Wait, what was the log? Oh, okay, it's about the room. Thank you, Liz. It's a really nice room. I just wanted to follow my big sister's shoes. Hey, don't actually sound appreciative, that's playing dirty. A small laugh was shared between you and your older sister. You better believe you'll be back in the guest room when you've got your own place and we're both in town for a visit. Yeah. What a reasonable and mature suggestion. I'll think about accepting it. She flashed her familiar grin and you couldn't help but feel glad she was back around, even it was temporary. Good lord. With that, she plodded off to the spare room. You were ready to do the same. Moving into a new space was your first opportunity to decorate from scratch. Design your room. Oh, wait, let me save. I want to design my room. Okay. Wait, I want to see what's up. No, I don't have something like that. Just green? Purple? No, that's a bit too girly. Yellow? Either this or green. Yellow or green. Yellow or green. What is my actual bit? I think it's more close to green. I'd go with green. Green's pretty nice actually. Let's save that for now. What are the extras? Oh, no extras? Wait, what's yellow again? What was yellow? Extra 1? Oh, what's extra 2? No, I don't have trophies. I have nothing. I have no trophies. I just wanna go with green actually. Seems simple. Right? Left? Oh, that's cool. Oh, there's more options? Oh, that's so cool. Okay, what do I actually have on my windowsill? I have like photos, yes? Oh, that's cute. Oh, no photos though. Walls? Oh? That's interesting. Back? Oh, no. Ooh. There's so much to decorate on! Let's go with this. Or not. Oh no, let's go there. Let's right. Ooh. Oh, it's just that. Lights? No. No, I don't want lights. Ooh. I want a bulletin board. Oh. Let's just keep like that. 4. Oh, a volleyball? Hiking? Middle? I don't play the guitar, right? No, maybe not. Let's just keep it like that. Looks pretty similar to my real room. Kind of, though I don't actually have a computer over there. You were really satisfied with the feel of your tiny part of the world. As your thoughts drifted, you tried to bite down another yawn. It was no good. Your bed was now lodged in your mind, and all you could think about was collapsing on it. Yeah, I have those days. You just feel real tired. You trudged up the stairs to your room. Stepping inside, you closed the door behind you, blocking the rest of the house. When you turned back around, you realized you were not alone there. Wait. Oh, please don't tell me. Comfortably perched on the windowsill was someone very familiar to you. How the frick did you get in here without any noise? What are you, Batman? Naruto? Oh god, no. I think I may be coughing up blood. No, don't look at me like that, mate. Cove Holden. Yeah. Surprise. Yeah, no mate. His tone was easy and relaxed. It was certainly a surprise. Yeah, no, duh, it was. Airi, like, what is this? Don't attack me like this. I'm dying. Yes, he really is killing me, huh? You hadn't expected him to be within the state. Never mind your own house. Yeah, no duh. He hadn't answered how he had suddenly just appeared back in Sunset Bird. Though, to be fair, you've been too astounded to actually ask the question. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. Thankfully, Cove took the hint from your stunned expression and began to explain. Yeah, explain. I got home in about 15 minutes ago. No one was home, so I figured I'd come in the usual way. By using the window? Yeah, the window. Guess old habits die hard. I think, is that how I use the phrase? A small smile had formed on his face. Oh my lord, you were still staring at him, unable to blink in case he disappeared. You could still barely believe he was really there, mere feet away from you. How? Huh? I left my bags in your backyard. I hope that's alright. At least leave your bags in the house. Gosh. That was when you truly understood. Cove had come straight to you upon getting back to town. You were his first port of call, taking precedence above all else. I see, so I'm your priority rather than putting your bags back in the house or whatever. Even though you hadn't been in when he called, Cove had ensured that he'd see you at the earliest opportunity, rather than allowing his plans to change. Yeah, I would have been pretty bashful if I saw him like this. Jesus Christ. Good lord, mate. God. Yamero. Stop looking at me like this. Jesus Christ. It wasn't until you were special. Oh, it wasn't news that you were special to Cove, but the way he prioritized you above everything else was something that flustered you. Yeah, I am getting flustered. Thanks. Good job. You did a good job of doing that. I kind of want to screenshot this. You know what? I'm screenshotting this. I don't have to screenshot it correctly. I just use the snipping tool. Yeah, snipping tool. Yes, please. I'm gonna go share. Save it as Jesus Christ, mate. Jesus. Mate. Cove dropped from his seat on the windowsill, landing lightly on his feet. He made his way over to you, the smile still resting on his face. Trouble's back into— yeah, he does make quite a bit of trouble, huh? Yeah, I don't need to say anything. I'm too surprised. Just wave and smile, boys. Guys, your smile fueled Cove's own, brightening him up even further. Being the focus of your joy and attention made him blush. It made a blush bloom on his skin like flowers blossoming in spring. I miss you. Even if he hadn't said it outright, you would have gotten the message from his body language. Cove was grinning widely, his raised cheeks burying his eyes which gleamed like hidden gems. But he looked at you as if you were the most exciting treasure of all. How was the trip? Yeah, I had a great time. Cove told you about how his trip back had gone. His mum was doing really well. She had a project in the works that she was thrilled about. Nice. As a result, Cove was going to be sitting around in Sunset Bird for the time being. Things were settled, as much as they ever were. With Cove back once more, you felt at ease. I'm gonna check something on something for a moment. Yes. Hold up, let me check on something for a moment. Hold up. I'm gonna go check on something for a moment. Let me just go on my YouTube for a moment. I just need to check. Okay, no, never mind. Oh. Just gonna hold up. Okay, stop. Cove stretched his arms out over his head, his eyes on the window and the world beyond. The sun had set while you'd been busy reuniting.
Well,
I should probably get my stuff and see Dad. He glanced over to you with a familiar expectant look. Oh my god. Wanna come with me? Yes, please. Maybe. Yeah, why not?
cool.
Cool. Cove began to head to your bedroom door. You insisted on a piggyback ride. No thanks. The two of you casually went down to the ground floor of your house. Cove's surprise arrival had wiped your earlier discovery from your mind. Oof. Now you'd had a chance to recover, you figured you'd tell Cove the intriguing news. I meant to tell you earlier, I saw Shiloh today.
Huh?
Shiloh? Cove repeated the name, his expression blank. From when we were kids, the one child that the child you had kind of had like a, not really an argument, it was like a blunt state, you gave him like a blunt statement or something. Cove pondered for a moment, then snapped his fingers. Oh, he was the freckly boy from that first summer, right? The one who moved. Yeah. I met a guy named Shiloh. He looked just like the Shiloh we knew. Lost however many years. But he didn't remember me and just left. I know. Feels bad, man. Sad. Cove frowned. That's, I don't know. Too bad I missed it. Though you knew him better than I did. That was definitely true. Not only had Cove known Shiloh for a shorter period of time, but he and Shiloh had never quite gotten along. Yeah, that sandcastle incident. Not that they were enemies either, just kids who were only ever together because of other people they both knew. I wonder what Shiloh's up to these days. I don't know, he looks like he's around bad company though. Very rude people. I don't like that Nate guy. I don't have any idea, he didn't say much.
Oh.
Oh well. That was everything you had on that news item, so you moved on to the next big update. Also, you know the mean old neighbors? The ones who would always yell at us? He cringed, recalling those particular memories back in the day was not pleasant even for someone as nostalgic as him. Yeah? They're not coming. They didn't rent the condo this summer. What is a condo anyways? Is it like a one What is a condo? Is it like a series of houses or something? Cove's jaw dropped. You didn't blame him. The elderly couple had been an institution as far back as you could remember, long predating Cove's arrival. Even now, as a teenager, you found your neck pricking as you walked by their condo, half expecting a scolding for breathing the wrong way in the vicinity of the vacation home. Man, why were they so mad at us then, though? It was strange to think that coming to an end. Wow. Cove blinked, clearly struggling with the idea in the same way you had. I didn't see that coming. People being gone, people coming back. It feels like I've missed a lot. I know that feeling, bro. This must have been a busy summer already. Well, you haven't missed the fireflies. They haven't shown up yet. Well, that's something, and we'd better not get left behind. There's still stuff to do. You nodded. The two of you headed out and traced the most familiar path you ever walked. The trip across the road over to Cove's house. Yay. It seemed that no sooner had the night begun than it was already at an end, and the dawn of a new day was soon upon you. The next morning, your belly was full of breakfast and you were in a pleasant mood. You hoped the rest of the day followed suit. Later, you were meeting up with your friends, Cove, Miranda, and Terry, to go into town. It was all on short notice, but that was because everyone was just so excited that Cove was finally back home. Yay! Maybe. Should I clap? I've already clapped, so why am I asking you this? Having a nice daydream? You blinked, pushing all your thoughts away and returning to reality. Man, I daydream a lot, too. Your mum was watching you with a teasing smile.
Alright.
So, what's on the agenda today? I'm meeting up with some people. Well, I hope you and your friends have fun. Don't get into too much trouble. She winked at you. You both knew of your mums wanted you to enjoy every bit of this summer before all the big changes started. That takes me back. I'll try.
That'd be great.
But before you go gallivanting around the town, could you bring the mail in? I'm finishing up putting the dishes away over here. Alright. Thanks very much. As soon as you were outside your front door, you couldn't help but see Cove and his dad standing around in the road. They noticed you too.
Hey.
Hey there, Airi. Hi, good timing. You should come join us. Oh yeah? I'll go with a simple wave. I don't think I can do any of those actions myself. Oh god. Cove couldn't quite meet your gaze, but as you approached, the corner of his mouth turned and pulled into a smile. You noticed Mr. Holden was taking in the scene of you and Cove with a self-satisfied smile. Cove followed your line of sight and shot his dad an unimpressed look. For a moment, Mr. Holden seemed like he had a thought dancing on the tip of his tongue, but he decided to keep it to himself. So, what are you up to today? As far as I know, nothing too much. Me and Cove are meeting some friends in town later. Sounds like a plan to me. Yawning, Mr. Holden stretched his arms over his head. My boy and I have just been waiting around to see what the new neighbors are like. It was definitely his idea. I don't know how you're not interested in this. It's big news. Besides, it'd only be polite to greet the new folks in town. Meeting. Maybe it'll be a single dad and his son. You've been here too You've been here too long if seeing a new person rent a condo is what you consider an exciting development. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, I'm dying to see the newcomers. Your response was just a shrug. I don't want to meet them. Go this one. For several moments, Mr. Holden was unable to answer. He was laughing and silently shaking his head. You might be onto something. Yeah, no duh. Cove, putting a reassuring hand on his dad's shoulder.
Don't worry about it.
You can still make the most of your life before it's too late.
What?
How How old do you think I am? I'm not that old. Okay, maybe I am. Mr. Holden took one more glance at the currently vacant building and sighed dramatically. Then he turned back to you and Cove. His whole body seemed deflated. There's no sign of them, and I still need to head over to work soon. Cove gave his dad a few reassuring pats on the back. Okay, I promise to keep an eye out. I can text you if anything happens. Really?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, only until I have to meet up with Terry and Miranda. Miranda? Would that still work? With a wide grin breaking out on his face, Mr. Holden looked absolutely thrilled to have his nosiness enabled. Nosiness enabled. That works. He moved to firmly place both hands over Cove's shoulders, fixing his child with a firm stare. Son, you are my true ally in this world. Mr. Holden stood up straighter, letting Cove go. He looked reinvigorated. Okay, with that settled, I'll go make some money. That's always been the one thing I do best. Is it? Mr. Holden headed off to the garage with a big wave goodbye. Jesus Christ. Cove smiled the whole time. You both watched his dad leave. Yeah. He always tried his best and was honestly just great. Yeah, I agree. Cove's dad is hilarious. As soon as he was out of sight, Cove sighed lightly. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just not looking forward to waiting. Guess I'll hang around the street for a while. I don't know what to do. Maybe I should. Nah, I don't want to keep company. Can't leave him out. Curiosity about the new tenant was getting the better of you, and you figured that the wait couldn't be too much longer. And besides, you just couldn't leave Cove. Really? Of course, I like keeping you company, remember? He stared at you a moment, smiling softly and thinking about his response.
Me too.
I like that too. Then his eyes fixated on you firmly. Airi, you're my true ally in this world. That got a fair moment of chuckles from you. He grinned, the stoicism fading into amusement.
Thank you.
You're always good to me. Thank you? Is there a thank you with a question mark option, please? You really weren't sure how to respond to that unit. Yeah, that's true. And you could tell Cove was watching you carefully. The smile on his face reached his eyes, and it made you feel electric. Oh la la. Then he stepped over to his front porch steps, lazily taking a seat and leaning back on his arms. Our watch begins. Nodding in agreement, you joined Cove on the front porch stairs. You both sat there in a comfortable familiarity as you settled in for the waiting game on the new tenants. The neighborhood was quiet and you sighed contentedly, closing your eyes and feeling the light breeze. Eventually, you both perked up at the sound of a car. A taxi followed the noise, turning into your street. Ooh, it's the person, right? Cove's eyebrows raised at the sight, and he sat up straight on the stoop. stoop.
Oh?
This has to be them, right? Yeah, it's gotta be. Now that they were here, you couldn't help but feel a bit curious. You wondered what kind of person would be living in the neighborhood for the summer. The taxi pulled a stop as you expected in front of the now empty condo. It was on the same side of the street as your home, a few buildings further up. Without getting to his feet, Cove tried leaning and tilting his head to get a view of the passenger door as it opened. The single occupant. It's occupant. Why is reading English hard? It's my first language, it shouldn't be this hard. The single occupant exited the cab. Huh? You could feel what Cove was in that moment. After the last renters, this new visitor was definitely not exactly what you expected. Ah, we got another pretty boy. I see. Man, you kind of remind me of Death the Kid from Soul Eater. You know, with the half black and white sort of get-up thingy, except Death the Kid seems much more emo compared to you. It was a young man. He had to be close to your age. He was dressed fully in an eclectic black, white, and grey outfit. Even his side-swooping hair matched the scheme. The only other pop of colour was from something that couldn't easily be fashioned into submission. A pair of dark brown eyes, which you caught when he was looking over his audience. Hello folks, who might you be? Well, we're the neighbours. The smile, already prominent on his face, curled further. It was cocky, but you didn't get the impression it meant something adverse. Hallelujah. You and Cove shared a familiar look with one another, bewildered even further. The color-coordinated man left it there. However, with a firm click, he shut the door of his ride. Then he turned his back to you to receive a large, unsurprisingly black suitcase out of the trunk. Continuing on with his own business, he strolled forward and lightly tapped on the driver's side window with his knuckles, asking for them to roll it down. When it opened, he leaned down and rested his arms on the ledge. You assumed he was thanking the driver from getting there, considering he slipped them a tip during the brief chat. They both shook hands and he pushed himself up and away from the taxi with both arms, giving the driver room to leave. The taxi pulled away, rolling carefully down the road and out of sight around a corner. The new renter had officially arrived. He left his suitcase on the ground out of the way of the street and sauntered over your way with the confidence of someone who had been invited to join. Cove finally stood up to greet this person. You followed suit.
Excellent.
Okay. Interesting. I'm Baxter Ward. It's excellent to meet you, neighbors. You were standing on the side he was approaching from. When Baxter got close enough, he offered his hand to you first. Yeah, let's just be polite. Baxter gripped your hand firmly to give a satisfying shake. Hello, Baxter. I'm Airi. Hey, Airi. I'm quite keen on getting to know you better this summer. We could be good friends. I see. From your other side, Cove made a sudden sputtering noise. And you are? He lifted his hand out to Cove next. Cove shook his head, still eyeing Baxter carefully. I'm Cove. Baxter's whole demeanor lit up for unknown reasons. His eyes shone as he studied Cove Holden. Don't tell me he's jealous.
Really?
Now wait, is that a nickname or your real name? It's just my name. Cove spoke mildly, having given that explanation many times in the past, but it clearly charmed Baxter all the same. He tossed his head to one side with a laugh. Your parents knew exactly what they were doing. I can't imagine a more fitting name for the face I'm seeing. Cove. That's gorgeous. I don't quite get it, but okay.
What?
It's really not. No, I agree. It's yeah, I wouldn't know what to say. After a noticeable pause, Baxter caught on that he made you both uncomfortable.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It wasn't intended to mean more than it did. I like your name, but you don't have to mind that. I'm patiently against stepping on anyone's toes. He chuckled to himself. It seems like there was some extra meaning hidden there in his words, and you noticed Cove raised an eyebrow, picking up on that too. Baxter didn't even open his eyes to see your faces, to know he had some filling to do. He stood up straighter, striking a slight pose with the position of his feet. I'm a ballroom dancer, hence the phrasing. Oh, I don't know much about dancing, but that's pretty cool. It's not hard once you get the basics down. Cove didn't look convinced at all. Baxter took that as a cue to keep talking. Well, he grinned in a way that was rapidly becoming familiar to you. Pardon. Hold up. If either of you are looking for a partner, I'm available. Cove frowned at the overt forwardness. Thanks? I'll pass, I think. Yeah, me too. I'm not too into dancing. Baxter nodded understandingly. Oh god. And let the subject go. After that, there was a lull in the conversation, and Cove attempted to fill it. So what made you decide on Sunset Bird? Oh yes, well my parents rented a condo, so I had a place to stay while I'm off for a semester from college and not living in the dorms. There was a playful glint in Baxter's eyes as he continued.
Honestly.
Ideally, they wanted to send me somewhere that wasn't too exciting, but lucky for me, they picked the wrong street, considering the two of you live here. Cove was practically reeling over how Baxter found a way to fit comments like that into every topic this far. I don't get it, but okay. Why do you keep doing that? You don't know us, but you talk like you already do. Cove spoke firm yet genuinely confused, and Baxter smiled cautiously. I don't feel the need to keep words of praise to myself, and when I say something, I mean it.
See?
Plus, what's the point of spending my off semester alone? The best part of being somewhere new is getting to interact with new people. Am I honestly the first person who's acknowledged you're attractive and intriguing people? True, you're hidden away in a tiny tourist trap, but still, maybe not call Sunset Bird a tourist trap, please? It's a little rude. Baxter crossed his arms. After studying your faces a few more seconds, he decided to continue. Am I only trying to score a hookup to get a romantic fling started by saying those things? No, that isn't the point of speaking well of others. I was raised better than that. Yeah, understandable, I guess. Though, would I be fussed if that's what my words lead to? Also, no. I am flexible, not a surprise, Sim. I can back off the lines if you don't like the attention, but I would like to be friends if we can. Cove wasn't sure how to respond. He glanced at you, and he continued to look at your face when he spoke. Thanks for answering. I'm not interested in any of that with you. Maybe not the friend thing, but the other part. I don't know how to react to this either. Baxter looked at you and smiled apologetically. I'll keep it in check. Yeah, maybe that might be a good idea. I don't know. Shifting his weight to his other foot, Baxter tried to move forward. So, since you both were both already out here, did my arrival interrupt anything? Definitely not. If Cove wasn't going to say anything, neither were you. Baxter didn't need to know how much of today was spent waiting to see who was moving in. Yeah. Baxter watched you both carefully for a hint of what was going on, but decided not to pry any further. Well, if either of you are free, I'd be thrilled to hang out this summer, but we can save the scheduled talk for later. I should get my things inside. He gave a small nod of the head and flashed you both with a dazzling smile.
Goodbye.
Goodbye for today. Bye. Cove gave a small wave as well. Bye, Baxter. See ya. Baxter then turned on his heels and strolled back to his suitcase, picking it up and bringing it to his condo. You and Cove were as silent as Baxter unlocked the door and disappeared inside the house. With him completely out of the scene, Cove let out a long breath.
Well,
I don't know how I'm gonna explain that guy to my dad. Yeah, I wouldn't know how either. He seems the flirty type, but maybe unintentionally the flirty type. I don't know. He did explain that. He did explain something like that. I don't know. I'm not good at reading people. You burst into a fit of laughter, trying to imagine the conversation. At least the job is done. We saw the neighbor, and now we can go meet up with Terry and Miranda. I'm still debating whether to pronounce her name as Miranda or Miranda. Yeah, we should get going. You gave Baxter's condo one last glance over your shoulder. Man, how long is this intro gonna last? Yeah, I wasn't sure how to react. Honestly, you didn't know if you would ever come to a conclusion about him. Baxter was just so different. Yes, I agree. Turning your attention back to Cove, you pushed all your thoughts of Baxter aside. You both started making your way towards town. A little while later, you and Cove reached a main street in town. All of a sudden, you stopped walking. What's wrong? I think I felt my phone vibrate. You dug your cell phone out and looked at it with a satisfied grin. There was a new message. You opened the text from Miranda, and all you saw was, "I can see you." You immediately from where you stood, you started swiveling your head around. You couldn't spot Miranda anywhere, but she did send you more messages. Haha, I see you looking. Yeah, where are you? The message was sent and you were back to looking around, scanning for any sign of movement and familiar faces, but they were still invisible. Cove looked at you carefully, raising an eyebrow. Yeah. You weren't sure what Miranda had planned next. Cove looked at you, puzzled, raising an eyebrow. What's happening? Before you could even begin explaining anything to Cove, you both snapped at your attention to the yelling from across the street. And there you saw Miranda and Terry coming out from behind the backside wall of the grocery store. They both started waving wildly to draw even more attention to themselves. Cove took a step in their direction, grinning. He put his hands around his mouth to better project his messages across the street. Hey! Laughing and arm in arm, the girls stopped only to look both ways and then rushed across the empty street.
Hi!
Hi, hope you weren't waiting too long. Let me have another sip and check on something again. Let me just save again for a moment. Too low. Da 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 na 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 na. Na 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 na. Oh god. Hi, I hope you weren't waiting too long.
Hey, buddies.
Hey buddies. Hi. Hello. You're happy to see your friends. Their little tease on you was already long forgotten in your mind. Terry then closed the distance between her and Cove and crushed him in a painfully tight hug. You're finally here. It's been so long. What took you? He did his best to eke out a reply with his chest being compressed. Sorry. Eventually she let him go. Terry looked at him with a beaming smile, but Cove was distracted, rubbing his arms. Standing there, Miranda shifted her weight to her other hip. She watched Cove patiently with a bashful smile. Welcome back. Thanks. It finally felt official. Everyone was together in one place. From here, you weren't sure how often you would have another afternoon like this again. They didn't either.
So?
Cove. Terry poked Cove square in the chest. You're gonna have to get me your schedule by this time yesterday.
No way.
Not really possible, Terry, but I can say as soon as I know. Oh god. So far, work hasn't said anything, but I can tell you I'm busy with orca activities. Pardon. Pardon, once again. When Cove wasn't at his part-time job or pursuing his athletic and academic interests, he volunteered for Ocean Restoration, California Affiliation, ORCA. Nice name. The group focused on cleaning up beaches and removing pollution from the ocean. Cove always loved the sea. It didn't surprise you one bit when he started getting involved with them. Yeah, that's not surprising at all. It was Cove's activity because I don't see myself interested in anything related to the sea. Yay. The big smash event for the year is coming up, right? Coming right up, isn't it? Yeah, there's not much more to do before then, but I'm kinda looking forward to the fundraising push. You nodded, wondering how the event would turn out this year. I know you can do it, and even if it goes really bad, it'll still look good on a college application at least. That's true. Hey, guess what else? We don't have to stand here to say stuff. Let's go! I would like a meal now. Perking up, Cove nodded in agreement. Yeah, for sure. The four of you reached into town, happily chatting the whole way. The only decision left to make was where exactly to stop and eat. The rest of the afternoon and evening passed by in a blink of an eye. When night fell, it was time to head home, and you parted ways with Miranda and Terry. You and Cove reached your neighborhood without event. It was late enough that your out-of-the-way street was dark and silent. Oh, are we nearing the end of the intro? Of part 3's intro? Jeez. The intros are always so long. Not that I'm complaining. It's been quite interesting. Lol. Yeah, You yawned, stretching your arms high over your head. It was taking a lot of mental focus to keep up and walk alongside Cove. As you did so, you peered at his face out of the corner of your eyes. You wondered why he felt so distant to you. It was out of character. For a while, Cove silently stared ahead and left you alone with your own thoughts. It surprised you when you did hear his voice all of a sudden. He still wouldn't look at you. It feels weird coming back to the neighborhood and trying to get into things like they're the same. And they're not. They've changed. They're still changing. Yeah. Your mouth felt uncomfortably dry all of a sudden. It was true. The things that kept people you knew together were starting to disappear. Each person had to make their own priorities and their own path now that it wasn't set for them. You thought about your own immediate future. You had been considering more and more, and ideas were starting to settle in your mind. You hoped... I'm currently going to school for talent. Hold up. What's the log? What was the... More the other side still on your mind. Time. And to... Wait, what? To focus on... Yeah, that's what I want to do. To work... Part-time... And that was the basics. For your career, you thought you'd... Oh no. I haven't done any of these things. I don't do it. Let me just go with this. That was all. For your education, you thought you'd... What's a community college? What's a trade school? I'll just go with a public university. Yeah, that's all. For yourself, you wanted to... Yeah, let's go with that. That was all. And for that, you wanted to... There's more. I'd rather stay local. I mean, I'm used to living in the same spot. I don't think I'd get used to living in a new area. And then I'd lose everything I know. Well, not lose everything. I just wouldn't be used to a new setting as quickly, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I just prefer to stay in one place. That's all. It'll all be happening so soon. Yeah, let's go with that. Now you wondered what Cove had in mind. You heard him consider some things for his future, but it was never anything that would have counted as a real plan. Making it back home, you both stopped in the middle of the street. Cove sighed. Cove looked at the ground for a moment. His mouth trembled, trying to settle on the right words to say. So, are you still thinking about relaxing for a while and stuff in Sunset Bird? Yeah. Cove closed his eyes and nodded while he composed his thoughts. He looked at you when he lifted his head. I decided on something. Well, kind of. He smiled slightly and rubbed his arm, and then his expression grew more serious. I'm not gonna decide on a school or a career, not this summer. I'm gonna stay here, at least in Sunset Bird. I'll probably move out of my dad's place. I'll keep working my job, keep doing my volunteer stuff, and everything else.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll know what I want for myself by fall, or next year, or maybe I'll never have a plan. Life will continue on with whatever's happening. I'm not gonna crush myself trying to have everything figured out by a timeline that someone else has set. I just can't do it. His brow furrowed and his tone was tense. It was clear how much expectations were weighing on him.
I guess.
I guess it'll just be me and you, right here for a while longer. His eyes were glossy. You weren't going to be separated, and that meant a very great deal to him. Yeah. Cove sighed. He looked relieved that you understood. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow, Airi. I'll see you. Night. He pulled you into an unexpected hug. It knocked the breath out of you, yet couldn't have been a more reassuring feeling. You returned his embrace and stayed that way for as long as you could.
Good night.
Night. He finally let go, giving you another smile. Then Cove started walking away, but you remained there, frozen in the middle of the street. You watched him and wondered, how many more times will he be able to say that he'll see you tomorrow? Man, that's kinda sad. You hoped for countless more times. Finally, you turned towards your own home. You vowed to yourself that you would make the most out of every moment you had this summer. Finally, we're up to the, what's it called again? The thingy-madoodle. Oh my god. How long did that take? 2 hours? Felt like 2 hours. Hang. You grabbed the large beach towel from off your bed and stuffed it into a bag. You had already packed your water bottle for your upcoming beach hangout session. The stars have aligned and somehow everyone was free today. Miranda had set things up with several bubbly phone calls between you, Cove, and Terry to find a time to hit the beach. You were hoping that this would be a fun time together. What? Cove sat on your windowsills, kicked one of his, please wear a shirt, my god, you're going to the beach anyway so it doesn't even matter, and kicked one of his legs into the air idly. He already had his swimsuit on, and his towel was bundled under his arm in a misshapen ball. He'd shown up earlier that morning with a surprising amount of enthusiasm. He was chatting as you caught up to his preparation. But seriously, I couldn't find my swimsuit this morning. I looked everywhere. It had disappeared. I had no idea what I was gonna do. Let's go with this one. Wait. I know that's not your only one. Cove looked away and shrugged. I might have some laundry to do. Yeah, no shit. Actually, I don't know why it was in the bathroom when I never put it there. He gave a small smile and readjusted the towel in his arms. You now could see that it had been folded at some point, but then rolled up and carried without much care.
I'm so glad.
But I'm so glad I found it. And it would have been crappy to lose my favorite trunks. I see. It was nice to see Cove so happy and comfortable in what he was wearing. You walked over to your dresser, amused about how you had picked out your own swimsuit. I just want a one piece. Your height had complicated your swimsuit shopping. Not many swimsuits were well fitting on someone who's petite, but then for the shape of your body, I'll just go with medium. And no, I'm not toned. Let's go with that. Wait, what's soft? Yeah, I don't think that. I'm pretty scrawny in real life. Well, yeah. There was a fragility to your build. You had to be careful with it. You had become heavier than what you used to be when you were younger. You had grown over the years and fleshed out a little more.
Are you okay?
You're alright. Oh yeah, I was thinking about some things. What things? Just myself and my body, really. His eyebrow rose at your admission of self-reflection. And what do you think? What did you think of who you were? You considered your identity further. Yeah. Being called her was right for you. And... they were notable enough to appear on your silhouette, though that was about it. People had a lot of identity wrapped up in their physical form. It shaped their self-image. No, I'm fine with it, I guess. Your body was you, and it was good that it was a good one that you felt content with. You focused on Cove again. He smiled at you and tilted his head, a question still in his eyes. He was waiting for you to come to an answer, but before you could, you had something to say to him. Well, that's direct. Wait, I wanna... wait. Nope. I'm not. About how I look, I mean. Cove smirked a little, his eyes taking you in easily. Fishing for compliments, Airi. Oh, so it's just the same reaction. You look great. Everyone knows that, including you. By the way, unless that's changed. I didn't want to call. Yeah, let's go with that. You felt your cheeks heat up and looked away. Cove shook his head and his hand went up to try to unsubtly cover his smile. Okay. I was kind of worried you were so in your head because something was wrong. Guess not. I'm glad.
Hey,
Airi. Cove gave a bent smile, pointing to your arms. You're looking particularly shapely today. He answered not with words, but with a solid okay sign with both hands and the same cheeky smile. Huh? Cove suddenly flushed when he realized how boldly he complimented you. He stood by it even if he was a little red. You were a little taken back. That came out of nowhere. You're no doubt. You glanced at yourself. You like that? Yeah. Yep. You looked back at Cove, tried to think of just what was happening. He chuckled nervously and rubbed his own arms. Now he seemed unsure of what to do. Finally, he felt that was enough of that topic for one day. You went back to your original goal before you got sidetracked. You needed to pick what you wanted to wear to the beach. Yeah, let's go with that. While you dug around in your drawers, you tried to think if there was anything else you were missing. Goggles. I don't want water in my eyes. With that taken care of, you held your outfit together and looked to Cove. He was tapping on his toes on the side of the wall as he waited. You vaguely wondered if he thought that was a comfortable place to sit. You hoped so. Given how long he'd perched on it. Wait, where is he sitting? I think he's sitting on the windowsill thing. Like over there, maybe. Regardless, it was time for him to go. You weren't going to put on your beach wear with him just chilling there. I need to change. Cove smiled, content with being kicked out. Alright. Cove lowered himself off the window and strode past you to get to the door. He lightly brushed his fingers against your cheek. Eh? Wait, that was sudden. Wait, when he passed by.
Bye.
I'll see you out front. Okay. When you were alone, you got undressed and put your swimwear on. You also checked your beach bag for the final time, and it seemed like you hadn't forgotten anything. You left your room and hurried down the stairs, ready to meet Cove. You made sure to lock your front door and walked outside. Cove stood in the road, looking down and scuffling his feet on the asphalt. When you shut your heavy door, he looked up at you and smiled. Hey. Hi. Wait. Hi, Miranda and Terry are gonna be here in not too long. Terry even texted me earlier saying she was mostly on schedule.
Well,
Why don't we just head to the beach and wait for them there? We're both ready. That sounded like a good idea to you, you said as much, and Cove shot off a quick text telling the two of them where you'd be. Cove gave you a thumbs up after the message sent. Make us free, no sweat, 'cause I know. Too low. It was a familiar path to walk, and it wasn't long until you reached the shore. Cove laid out his towel on the warm sand. You set up your stuff beside him and looked out into the ocean. The rolling swells hit the shore rhythmically. God, rhythmically. You all had lucked out. It was a beautiful day. The sky was clear and the waves were good. It was a balmy summer day, but with a pleasant breeze to keep things comfortable. Essentially, it was perfect. Yeah, that must be a nice day. So, do you feel like heading into the water? Maybe just walk down the shore? Or would you want to do something here? I'd say I wouldn't mind with any of these options. Maybe walk a little at first anyways. We can do that then. Cove nodded, accepting the plan. He kicked some sand off his towel absent-mindedly. Yeah, sounds nice. You took a deep breath and tasted the relaxing salty air. Cove caught your eye and gave you a small smile. You chatted a little before a comfortable quiet settled over the two of you, content to watch the waves as you waited for the others. Luckily, it didn't take long until you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight for you. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing with a towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jumps more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved them on with a bright grin. I'll wave. Terry tried to wave with both hands while running, one for you and Cove, but she was distracted and lost her balance, nearly falling, laughing all the while. The two officially arrived at Cove's and yours setup, looking completely ready for an ocean adventure. They were already in their swimwear and were rearing to go. Hey Terry, Miranda, welcome to our beach.
Hey!
Hi. Hello. She beamed and Miranda nodded with a smile.
Hell yeah!
Man, I am so pumped. Yeah, I'm really glad this worked out. What have you guys been up to over here now in your town? Cove? Airi? Have we missed it? Have we missed things? Cove blinked, and then shrugged when nothing he wanted to mention came to mind. Oh. Gave it vague answer. Just stuff, nothing too interesting. She looked skeptical but dropped it. Terry then started talking about her morning and how she almost overslept since she stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. But don't worry about me being tired today. You know, I ran on lists back during high school. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. She met up with Terry on the way here and you knew the rest. Cove offered a suggestion to the girls. Hey, let's walk while we cash up.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Once everyone's stuff was settled on the beach, the group strolled over to the shoreline. The wet sand was cool under your feet. A wave rushed up and covered your ankles in water. You flinched from the suddenness of it, and by the next wave you were acclimated. You took another step forward and sank a little into the ground. Behind you, your footprints were soon smoothed by the waves. Your friends chatted as you all walked together. You took turns pointing out cool shells or pieces of sea glass. It was a relaxing jaunt. Hours passed and the group had moved between different activities, some low-key and some more exhaustive. For you, it was another break time. You sat on your towel and sipped at some water. Your friends were hard at work, burying Terry's full body under a pile. Poseidon quivers before her. Poseidon quivers before her. Miranda used her arms to force up sand around Terry's sides. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet. You took another drink and closed your eyes. Eventually, a shadow passed over you, dampening the light that was still noticeable behind your eyelids. Sudden close-up look, good lord. You checked to see Cove had joined you there. He knelt down to dig around in the pile of assorted beach stuff in the middle of everyone's towels set up, and pulled out the sunscreen. He took a seat next to you on his towel. He opened the bottle with a soft pop and began reapplying the cream. Hey. He ran his hands across his chest and worked the sunscreen in, and you might have checked it. Oh lord. You might have checked him out a little from the corner of your eye, still sipping some water. Yeah, man. Oh. Another sip of water. But then he sighed again, this time in an exaggeratedly disappointed way. You wondered if he was going to sigh again, even more dramatically if he didn't say anything. I wonder what it was. You didn't have any solid guesses on what was up with Cove. Given his expression, it was probably going to be something silly. Cove shook his head, comically despondent. His frown didn't match the sparkle in his eyes. Huh?
Don't worry about it.
I'm just becoming another jaded adult, that's all. What? Now you were really confused. You waited for him to continue, and his next sigh did not disappoint. It was the most ridiculously sad sigh you had ever heard. Then he smiled a little. Mermaids aren't real, huh? What? That had not been what you were expecting, he continued. You know how much I liked mermaids as a kid? Well, merfolk as a whole. I really hoped that they were out there. Man, he and Haru from Free would be great friends. Maybe. Because apparently Haru wants to be a mermaid. At least in the end card. I don't know if he actually wants to be one. But in the end card, the ending theme, he shows up as a mermaid of some kind. I mean, the ocean's a big place, right? They could be somewhere. Yeah, sorry mate, but mermaids don't exist. Or mermen. But the older I got, the more I had to accept it. That they were just a fairy tale. This is the equivalent of someone finding out that Santa doesn't exist. He jerked his head over to the waterline and the rolling waves. They crashed against the shore and then drew back. This is a perfect beach for them. It's pretty and vast and never too crowded. Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised there's no one around. If merfolk did exist, we definitely would have met one by now. Or at least we would have heard of someone else seeing one, but nothing. That's like with aliens. We think aliens might exist, but we haven't have any evidence or actually met them before. What's this? Oh. Oh well. I'll talk with some of these tools. He acted as though that result was a true bafflement. He let his head hang. I gotta let the dream go. That was hilarious. Cove chuckled a little to himself, his eyes tilted off into the sea, his face still low. Maybe it's for the best. Let's say a merperson did happen to wash up on shore one day. He looked at you with a false, doleful expression. I could have lost my best friend to their magical underwater world, huh? I don't think I would like to live in the sea very much.
Really?
Are you sure that's the right call? If a beautiful, kind merperson fall for somebody, I'm pretty positive that the sensible response isn't to turn around and say, "No thanks, I'm gonna stay on land with a normal guy." I'm not sure what to answer with any of this. You don't want me to be blindsided when you ditch me for okay, this is I mean, Please stop. You're making me fear you. Oh my lord. Man, he really is killing me. Oh, you were completely flattered by how highly he thought of you. Yes, indeed. And then you heard Miranda screech. Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. You saw that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The walls Miranda had been meticulously building collapsed into a wet heap of sand. She surveyed the damage critically. We're gonna have to start over on that part. Do you just want to give up on this now?
No way.
No way, the burial must continue. I'll try not to move anymore. Okay, if you're sure, I'll try to fix this. Miranda started to rebury her, and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that morning her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled, and Miranda put her head in her hands. Cove caught your eye and started to drag himself up. Seems like we're needed. Indeed. You agreed and followed him over to the girls. Miranda nodded at you both with appreciation, and the three of you did your best to finish the job. You all worked out a system of using just enough wet sand to help hold the rest together. With 3 people, it didn't take long for Terry to be entombed. Terry grinned massively and Miranda offered high fives. The pile was officially done. Oh yeah, resembling. I don't know this reference too well. Resembling the Kool-Aid man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Sand went flying in all directions, and a Terry-shaped imprint was left behind. Is Kool-Aid like kind of like Roro in some way? I don't know. I wasn't born in America. I just know it's a popular drink from America, that's all. Miranda yelled again, and Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. The four of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest while you found the most colorful. Cove caught a tiny crab. Ugh, crabs. I mean, they're not scary actually. I don't think. I mean, I've never actually held a crab before, but like, oh my god. Sometimes they just like appear randomly in like mussels, like already cooked mussels, as you're trying to eat the mussels, and it's just like, oh no, I don't want to move. I don't want to touch the crab. I don't want to touch on a tiny dead crab that may potentially have eggs all over it. You did a bit of everything. They were impromptu games just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while you all have ran out of water, drinkable water anyway. It was decided that you'd head over to your or Cove's house. Things were gathered and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What's next? I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be whatever. Same, I guess we can just keep hanging out. Terry snorted and readjusted her grips on her things. Don't sound too sure there, Cove. At this point, you could see your house. It hadn't taken you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? She looked from face to face in inspection. Cove and Miranda shrugged in concert. No one was overtly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime. We could get dessert. Miranda pulled out a finger to her lip and thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident. Yeah, that would be fun. Terry considered it and then shot Miranda a thumbs up.
Sure.
Sounds great to me. I can definitely go for that. I think that's a good idea. But there's nothing sweet at my house. Your friends glanced at Cove and his place. He shook his head immediately. Dad doesn't have anything good either. I mean, unless you want dessert-flavored protein shakes. What? Ew, no! She cut in and held her hands up as if trying to ward off something evil. Cove smirked.
Not bad.
It's not that bad.
Nope.
Yeah, I've never tried some protein shakes before. Do they even taste nice? Well, there has to be some kind of sweet shop around here. Let's look it up. Terry nodded and started to dig around in her bag. I like the way you think. Terry continued to rummage in her bag and grew increasingly frustrated. She puffed out her cheeks and knelt down, setting the bag in the ground. With both hands free, she was finally able to fish out her phone. She raised it up in triumph for a brief moment of celebration.
I'm on it.
I'll search for something good. Terry got back to her feet, hefting the bag over one arm, tapping away at her screen in the other. But she assessed Cove from top to bottom. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Cove glanced down at his bare chest and feet. Having not even registered it prior, he chuckled a little. I'll grab something. Cove moved over to his house. You look towards yours. Yeah, I'm gonna change too. I don't think I should. I don't really want to stay in my swimming togs for any longer. You felt like you'd be more comfortable in something more streetwear than beachwear. You inclined your head over to the side. I'm gonna change too.
Sure.
Go for it. We'll wait. Miranda nodded with a smile. You ran into your house, no one was home, so you just rushed to your room and dropped off your beach stuff on your bed. On my bed? Like my togs and everything? Yeah, casual clothes. You stripped and found a suitable outfit to go hang out with. You slipped it on and felt satisfied with your decision. With that, you sped back outside. Cove was already there and gathered around Terry's phone with the girls. He opted to just add a shirt and shoes, apparently putting in the minimum effort for service. Hello again.
Hey!
You don't really want ice cream, do you? You didn't have a chance to answer. She kept barreling through with her words. 'Cause I'm not into that right now.
That's cool.
Don't mind her. You look nice, by the way. Terry scrolled further and then made an interested exclamation. Oh, what about this place? They sell crepes. That's something you don't see every day. Look how fancy they are. She shoved her phone into your face. It seems like a cute shop. It didn't show any pictures of the actual building, but some food. But the food seemed good. It was one of those places that put a lot of effort into presentation, with a branded wrapping for the crepes and well-applied toppings.
Huh.
Weird, I've never heard of it. I haven't either. Mysterious, but crepes are so good, and messy. She nodded her approval as Terry admired more of the photos. I'd go, it's not too far, but we could drive. Terry cheered at the success of a plan made, and you all walked around to Cove's car. He had to run inside once more to grab his keys. I drew a picture. You notice a thin coat of sand and dust on Cove's car. It had probably been a while since he'd washed it. With a smirk, you carefully wash me with your finger.
Very nifty.
Good work. I wonder if he's even gonna notice. With the car beat and unlocked, Cove ran up to you with his car keys in hand. His hair slipped into his face and he brushed it back. Shotgun. She clambered into the passenger seat without hesitation. You didn't argue and climbed into the back with Miranda. Terry activated the directions on her phone map and acted as their navigator, directing Cove to the crates. The GPS tried to get Cove to turn into a non-existent road once and wanted him to do a U-turn instead of just using the left turn, but with Terry looking at the actual path, it went smooth enough. You were led to a small stall in a parking lot rather than a full building. That explained why there hadn't been pictures of the crepes interior, and why it was new to you despite living in this town your entire life. It was a completely new structure that popped up recently. There was a window you could walk up to and one for cars to drive up to. Cove parked with a laugh.
Come on.
I don't think I need to put a shirt on for this, but I still gotta try it. Let's go.
What?
Do you not trust us to eat in your car? She gestured the drive-through option. Cove shook his head with a snort. I trust some people here, maybe, but wouldn't it be more fun to actually check it out? I can agree with that. I agree with that. Everyone acknowledged his point and piled out. Terry tried to tease Cove a little, but Miranda started talking about the last time she had crepes. Apparently there'd been a dessert explosion, topped with multiple sauces, powdered sugar, and what Miranda was pretty sure had to be cake icing. That's sweet.
So great.
Literally, it was so good, but I regretted it so much. I couldn't finish it, and I really tried. You can do it this time, Randy. Ooh, pretty. There were some laughs. When you got up to the menu, you realized that there were more than just crepes. There were definitely crepes, many crepes. However, the stall also had a lot of different drinks as well. Teas, smoothies, milkshakes.
Woo!
Jackpot! She grinned and held out her fist for a fist bump. Miranda high-fived it. The two stared at the awkward, vaguely turkey-shaped hand configuration that they had made and then slowly put their hands down. Cove's mouth twitched in a smile. You stepped up to order first. You glanced back at the menu. I'll just get a drink. I'm not too into crepes. I would like a drink, please. There was a woman who looked a little older than you taking the orders. She smiled back at you, ready to hear the specifics of your purchase. After you picked the size, you asked what you wanted to drink. You ordered bubble tea, bubble tea, bubble tea, bubble tea, is there bubble tea, milk tea? You could also add a mix in or toppings for the drink. Whipped cream, bubble tea, and that's all. Keep things simple. It's good to keep things simple. You paid and stepped aside to let your friends order. Cove got a lemon crepe with powdered sugar on top and mixed berries. He also got a plain strawberry smoothie. Terry went crazy with toppings, although she ordered a plain crepe. She had it smothered with whipped cream, cream cheese, chocolate chips, chocolate syrup, and bananas. Cream cheese? Wait. Oh, am I thinking of sour cream? What even is cream cheese? Miranda opted for a frap with caramel syrup and condensed milk. The four of you stood off to the side as you waited for your treats. I think yours sounds tasty, Airi. It's literally just normal bubble tea though. Thanks. Order for Airi. I gotta get that. You grabbed your order. The others didn't take much time after that. With the goods collected, everyone admired their treats. Terry dug right into hers and Miranda gave hers a tentative sip. Terry nodded acceptingly with her mouth completely full. Miranda tilted the frap over her with a grin. Terry sipped it and clearly loved it. She raised her crepe over to Miranda. You could tell that there was an intent to make it look nice, but with all the assorted toppings piled on, only so much could be done. Miranda took a huge bite with gusto and sighed happily. Terry seemed satisfied and took another slurp of Miranda's drink. They had both only gotten one thing, probably because they knew they'd end up sharing. Yeah, let's share. I'm curious on what would happen. You held your order up a little, bringing it to attention. Your friends looked at you curious. Anyone wants some? Yes, dibs. You can't call dibs on someone else's food. Except that I did. Anyone can try it if they want. Thanks, that's so nice. Miranda took the first round and then with a smirk passed on your order to Cove instead of Terry. Wait. Aw, Randy, my dibs. Sorry, you can't claim Airi stuff. Wait, why? Fine, I can wait for it. Chuckling, Cove seemed to greatly enjoy his taste and didn't pass it on to Terry until he stopped chewing slowly. Finally, she accepted your order with gusto and took her taste.
Thank you.
It's so good. Thanks, Airi. I know, bubble tea is so good. But it fills you up so fast, too. You gave your reply, and between sips of Miranda's frap and munches of Cove's crepe. Kinda weird, but okay. With that, Cove started to eat his treats in earnest. You saw him take a huge gulp of his smoothie, and then, without swallowing, he added a bite of his lemon crepe. How do you manage that? Cove? Terry tore off a piece of a crepe and held it out to Cove.
So?
Care to make a trade? Sure. Instead of continuing to loiter in the parking lot, the four of you started to walk down the sidewalk. There was a lot of sharing going on, with crepe bits and toppings being passed around. You wouldn't have been surprised if Terry ended up drinking more frap than Miranda did. He kept going down the way, eating, drinking, and chatting. Oh, you hadn't realized just how far the group had wandered until you ended up at the now leaving sign. Apparently, you were about to just walk right out into the middle of nowhere. Terry took a mouth off of Miranda's straw and stopped sipping the frap. Impossible! Preposterous! How are we already at the end? I always forgot how tiny this town really is. Cove chuckled a little and swallowed a chunk of Terry's crepe.
I guess.
It kinda is, huh? It didn't feel that small when we were growing up. Not disagreeing with Cove, you gave an acknowledgement of his words. Sunset Bird really did feel smaller these days. I guess this means we should probably head back. One doesn't just walk into nowhere land. We're not only one, Terry. There's 4 of us. Was that a reference or something? Terry scrunched up her face, not wanting to acknowledge the bad joke. She decided to ignore it. Oh, so it probably was a reference to that meme. It stinks having to go all the way back. Yeah, but it's not like there's anything out in that direction. And if we did keep going forward, it'd be an even longer trip home. He steered off into the stretch of road as Cove agreed that he didn't want to go out any further. Can we take a break here first before we turn around? We've been walking for a while and someone finished my drink. Right on cue, Terry loudly sucked the air from the straw. It was so good. Miranda looked at her, but Terry remained unrepentant. In the end, though, it was agreed to hang around the sign before heading back to the car. It didn't take long to finish the rest of the food and drinks. Everyone gathered up the trash and stuffed it into bags and pockets for now. The group relaxed on the grass, keeping account of all the cars that drove past. It was not a high number. 14. The newest passing car drove into town from somewhere outside, but as the vehicle came by, it slowed down and you watched as it ultimately rolled to a complete stop. The black car parked right by the now leaving sign. Everyone exchanged a baffled look. But then the tinted window rolled down and the driver peered out. As soon as you saw his hair, you recognized him. No one else you knew presented themselves so distinctively. Hey neighbors! Cove jolted with recognition. He pasted a cordial smile and waved politely. Afterwards, he put his mouth back over the straw of his long, empty drink as if trying to act cool. Yes. He leaned over and tried to get a better look. His hands were loose on the steering wheel and he seemed rather relaxed to just have pulled over on the side of the road. He waved and he nodded in acknowledgement. And you thought about the odd picture this made. A fancy black car pulled over to talk to a group of teens, mostly still in beachwear. It is weird. Miranda was incredibly confused and shrank back to watch. Terry tilted her head in an unspoken question. Cove made a quick gesture pointing towards Baxter and a light bulb went off for Terry.
Alright.
Ah, that's the new person at the condo. The B-man, right? Yeah, Baxter. Oh, I wasn't sure if I'd ever actually see him. Her voice was quiet. Miranda usually got shy around new people. Terry was quite the opposite. Incredible, this is perfect. Terry hopped up from the grass and ran to Baxter's car, all full of excitement. Behind her, Miranda picked herself up and dusted imaginary dirt off her clothes. She sent a searching look to you and Cove, to which Cove shrugged. Miranda nodded, and with clenched fists he hesitantly followed Terry. Terry bent down to talk to Baxter through his window. She blasted through introductions with Miranda putting in a shy wave. Cove looked at you. He still clearly had no intentions of going over. Just stay with him. When Cove realized you were planning to stay with him, he smiled a little. Cove shuffled closer and dropped his voice. Huh? Honestly, I still find it kinda hard to talk to the guy. I agree. Yeah, I thought you would. Cove sighed and ran a hand through his hair. He looked at you with a wry expression on his face. I'm glad you do, because I don't think I could explain it if you asked me to. He tries to be considerate, but it doesn't totally land for me. Sometimes people don't hit it off. The two of you waited for others to finish up. You couldn't hear what they were saying from there, but you could see from body language that Terry was up to something and Miranda didn't like it. You and your neighbor exchanged a look. After Miranda seemed to calm down slightly, Terry turned around to wave at you. She put her hands to her face and made a megaphone. Come on, get over here. Baxter's giving us a ride. Cove's mouth opened in surprise, then his lips curled together in clear displeasure.
Alright.
I should have known. She's always pulling something. He took a slow breath and then shrugged. Guess we have to get over there. It's gonna be really awkward now, since he knows we tried not talking to him. Maybe, what if, it doesn't have to be like that. For all we know. It's more like I couldn't. It's hard to explain. It doesn't have to be like that. Everyone just thinks that we're too lazy to get up, It doesn't have to be like that. Yeah, we can't hide over here forever. You followed him over to the car, apparently about to get a lift. Regardless of anything else, you didn't have to walk back. That's what counted, and you were grateful to Terry for arranging it. You arrived at the driver's side car window, and Baxter smiled welcomely. Hello. Hey. Cove greeted him mildly, his expression cautious. Howdy, Baxter. Why would I say that? Alrighty, plan made. Let's hop in. You excitedly opened the passenger side seat and buckled yourself in. The car was pristine, and you were right near the new car scented air freshener. Baxter had the air conditioner on cold but low, so it was pleasantly cool inside. A nice relief from the summer sun you had been baking in all day. Your friends clambered on and back. It definitely seemed the slightest bit squished back there.
Does that sound alright?
Welcome to my vehicle. I hope everyone is comfortable, and if someone could point me in the right direction, we could be on our way. Terry went back to navigator mode and outlined their journey. It was basically a straight line with one turn at the end into the parking lot. Baxter nodded from up in the driver's seat and pulled back into the road. Luckily, the street was still empty. It took no time at all for Baxter to park right next to Cove's car. There wasn't even enough time for a proper conversation to start. The occupants didn't seem to mind. There were smiles all around when Baxter parked next to Cove's car. Woo! Miranda clapped quietly as Terry cheered. Cove chuckled nervously. Yeah, you're glad to have reached your destination, and please at the fanfare of your friends. You didn't say a word, but Terry and Miranda would definitely caught your amusement. We've arrived. That was easy. Terry flung open her door and climbed out. Thanks. Everyone else exited the car as well. The group thanked Baxter with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Baxter himself got out too. Everyone congratulated him? What the is that? Everyone congregated. Congregated. Oh my lord. Let's save again. So that's how it's spelled. Everyone congregated again in front of Baxter's and Cove's cars. Cove looked at the back of his and frowned. He finally discovered the wash bean you put on it. I wonder who did that. You snickered along with Miranda, who realized you'd been caught.
Ooh.
It's a mystery, right? Right. Terry bounced over to Baxter and offered her hand for a handshake. He accepted it easily with a charming grin. You're a pal. You're too kind. It was no trouble whatsoever. I'll be keeping this car all this summer if it suits you. You're welcome to take my number and give me a ring whenever you're in need of another ride. Pardon, and that goes for everyone here too. I have a car. Terry busted into laughter and Miranda fidgeted. She did not know what to do with that. Baxter went really fast, didn't he? He noticed her discomfort and smiled it with a soft tilt of the head. I'd be happy to help again, but that's the only reason I offered. If you don't need it, you can pass on it. Nah, I think I'll just take the bus. When her giggles subsidized, Terry put a hand over to her chin with brows furrowed. I wonder, would that option be available right now? You could valet us somewhere cool.
What?
What? Cove was taken aback. He put a hand on the hood of his car. Were we going back to the neighborhood? Wasn't Baxter going back to the neighborhood too? Why wouldn't we go somewhere else? Because we can. Miranda squirmed nervously and then committed to piping up.
Maybe?
We could go to the park near my place. It's a really nice place to hang out. You and Cove shared a look. The park was pretty nice. Let's do it. Baxter tapped the side of his face and thought.
It's doable.
That sounds doable. He glanced at Cove and then switched focus to you.
Well,
we have two cars. If some people are gonna go to the park, I could still take the others home, but if everyone's going, it wouldn't make sense for me not to. Man, this is a really long one. I think this is a really long section. I think after this section I might actually end stream. I do plan on doing something else playing something else next week, like Anne. It's good, like Anne, since it's basically Halloween. How long is that game anyways? And yeah, I might play Anne next week. It's a good idea to make some variations on what games to play, I guess. So yeah, I might play Anne next week. You decide, but then after playing Anne I might come back to this game or something, I don't know. You decided to hit the well, I want to see what happens if oh, okay. Whew. He smiled a little. Terry cheered and Miranda nodded happily. You felt like you made a good decision.
Yeah.
To the car again! What car? There are multiple. You watched to see if Cove or Baxter had an answer. Cove sighed and ran a hand through his hair. He tapped on his car's hood nervously.
I guess.
We can go in Baxter's, I guess. It'll be less of a pain than bringing both. We're all going to the same place. Are you okay with that, Baxter? Certainly. I meant what I said. When you need a lift, I can give it. Neither you or Terry brought up any objections, and so the gang climbed back into Baxter's nice ride. This time, Baxter offered to turn on some music. After all, it would be a little bit of a drive to the park. Yeah, I would like to see what kind of... I hope the playlist lives up to your expectations. He plugged his phone into the car with an aux cord and turned on some alternative music. With the music taken care of, Baxter put the car in drive and pulled out of the parking lot. The lot was practically empty, but you noticed that he was careful anyways. During the trip, it changed to hard rock, punk, and even screamo. Despite his personable demeanor, he didn't seem to like upbeat tracks. It took a while to arrive. By the time you got there, the sky was golden with the orange streaks of sunset. Oh, pretty. Everyone got out of the car and started to stroll along one of the paths. You walked by the basketball court and some picnic tables, taking in the sights. Miranda seemed amazingly content, the location helping her relax in the company. She led the way, sometimes stopping here or there to point something out. Baxter turned to her and nodded along.
Not bad.
I've never been here, but I definitely see the appeal. Man, this is Randy's stomping ground. She's been coming here forever. Seriously, Miranda, have you ever had a birthday party that wasn't here? You missed out, Baxter, cause every year she had a blowout party at the park. Imagine balloons everywhere. Miranda looked down, suddenly shy again, and with the attention on her, she let out an awkward laugh. Yep, every year. The group followed Miranda along to one of the picnic tables. She took a seat and Terry slid beside her. They spent the evening chatting amongst each other. Everyone got to know Baxter a little better, although you could tell Cove and him still hadn't fully clicked. Let's just save again. Miranda found an abandoned soccer ball and started tossing it around. To me! Miranda threw the ball to her. Terry caught it with a smile. Think fast. She chuckled it at she chucked it at Baxter, who had only had enough time to squeak. It bounced off his chest and he stared at it dazed. He blinked as if he needed time to process what exactly had happened, but then grinned dangerously. He rushed after the ball and rather than throwing it back, he surprised Terry and everyone else by lobbing the ball high into the air. What's lobbing? You bent your neck back to watch it ascent an inevitable decline. Baxter hooked it with his foot and launched it up again. There were oohs and ahs from Terry and Miranda. Baxter gave them a very proper bow. When it finally fell to the ground for real, Cove was the one who picked it up. He was impressed, and he wanted in. Oh, seems like they're getting along. With that, everyone was drawn into the game. It was unspoken that whoever did the fanciest trick won. Most of the gang were not particularly practiced with throwing a ball, so not many of the tricks were actually good. However, there was a lot of laughter, and you got to see Miranda pull off a round off where she threw the ball with her feet, so that was cool. The sunset eventually darkened into night and the streetlights turned on. Your group's chosen picnic table laid in a bubble of light. The occasional bug cast a shadow as they flew by. It's a little strange being here so late on a normal night. Usually that only happens if there was a party or an important game or a fireworks show. Fireworks! Her yell startled Baxter, who was throwing the ball nonchalantly from hand to hand. He missed catching it and sailed sadly back to the ground. He looked at Terry with her loud outburst. Save again. That's nearly 3 hours. I just remembered there's gonna be a fireworks show tonight. It's in the city. At everyone's questioning looks, she huffed and tried to explain further. It's some celebration for the opening of something. I don't remember what. I don't think we could get into the actual event anyways.
Hell yeah!
But we should still be able to see the show if we get close. We can't keep explosions in the sky away from the public. Cove raised an eyebrow and drummed his fingers on the table below him. You want to change locations again? Wasn't the last 2 times enough? Terry rolled her eyes and then shook her head. To her, it was obvious. Don't be a wet blanket, Cove. What about you, Airi, Randy, Baxter? Don't you want to see the fireworks? I wouldn't mind. I guess they are fireworks. Alright, whatever. What's one more scene change? Yes, I knew this was a good idea. In turn, 4 sets of eyes looked to Baxter. As the driver, his answer made or broke the plan. He chuckled softly. In for a penny, in for a pound. I'll go.
Honestly.
Generally, there's nothing better to occupy my time tonight. We better hurry or we might miss it. Cove rolled his eyes but laughed. Are they having a bonding moment? Everyone headed back to the car yet again. Terry brought out her phone to navigate to the city, and Baxter stepped on the gas. You're on your way. Baxter drove past buildings aglow in warm yellow light that cut through the navy black night. One office building had bright LED lights that cycled through a whole rainbow of hues. It was difficult getting through all the traffic on the road, let alone find a parking lot this late at night. Luckily, Miranda had eagle eyes when it came to scooping out a spot. She pointed to a sedan looking out and Baxter parked within seconds. Not wanting to miss the show, you all raced down the waterfront walkway to find a place with a good view. What about here? Cove peered across the rows into the distance and shot her a thumbs up. It was relatively quiet, isolated, and you could see the skyscrapers. That was a good sign, based on where Terry thought the event was. Yes, this should work just fine. She stopped and tried to catch her breath. Her hands on her knees, Miranda leaned against the wall between establishments as she recovered. Cove took a moment to breathe as well, stretching his spine back. He looked up at the sky and let out a relieved sigh. Think we missed anything?
No way.
Not a chance. Nothing's happening and we can't be so late that we missed everything. Maybe it'll start soon. Yeah, let's go with that. Music's nice. Sure, the fireworks was something that you'd like to see, but you weren't overly invested in the show. You were with your friends and that was already something. Fireworks would happen or they wouldn't. You could accept it either way. Oh. Terry led Miranda to sit down on the oval slabs along the path. Miranda took a seat and began tapping her knees together as she waited. Terry, meanwhile, crouched more than sat. Baxter flashed an unreadable smile at Cove and you, and then took a spot next to the girls. Cove seemed surprised and looked over her shoulder to watch him begin to chat with Terry. I guess he's trying not to upset us? Whether he left to make Cove and you more comfortable wanted to escape potential awkwardness, or if he really had just hit off with the girls earlier was anyone's guess. That's nice. Something seemed to strike Cove as he tried unsuccessfully to hide a smile. Most of us are in swimsuits. Wearing beachwear in the middle of the city in the dark while waiting for a fireworks show was clearly the joke of the day for him. Cove snorted once and then looked back up at the sky. Ooh, pretty. Fireworks. A flash lit up the sky with a brilliant green. Your eyes flew off the building in the distance and silently watched with bated breath. You heard a second boom and a red firework lit up the sky. Ooh, the show started. It's so pretty. They ran over to get closer, positively beaming. Terry pressed herself to the waterfront fence, getting as close as physically possible, without just going swimming again. Baxter followed a few steps behind. His mouth hung over at the sight for a moment, until he caught himself once again and shifted pleasantly composed. More fireworks went off, shooting out hundreds of tiny sparkling lights. The colors stood out starkly against the dark of the night. The biggest ones washed your surroundings with their hue, turning your world blue, then red, and then golden.
Welcome.
Did I deliver or did I deliver? Miranda's eyes glittered and she lightly bumped Terry with her hip. Good job. Terry stumbled at the friendly nudge but was pleased with the compliment. She grinned back. Terry lightly swung her hips the opposite way to give you a bump as well. It was friendly and soft.
Woo!
We did it! You smiled at her and nodded. Cove stared to the sky with wonder, while Terry squealed in joy after a series of especially grand explosions. Miranda put to one that was shooting up and then gasped when it bloomed and turned into a huge spear of violet light. Baxter smiled in appreciation. It was good to see your friends in high spirits. The rest of the group huddled around the railing to take in the show as closely as possible. Miranda stood by. Terry's hands gripped the top. Cove laid his arms across while leaning forward, and Baxter rested his elbows on the rail, putting his back towards the fireworks. He seemed to have more fun watching the others than the actual show. Oh! She pointed out a golden firework and beamed. Ah, that's so cool. Terry held up a hand for a high five and Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile. What color do you think the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cove answered immediately. Green. It was orange. Baxter chuckled, but wasn't interested in calling it Cove out for being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your favorite color? Green.
That's...
It's one of them. I think that's nice. It matches you. And yours is black? That's one of them. Cove smirked just a little and left the conversation there. They are bonding. Bonding moment. Man, this is taking a while, huh? Cove looked away from the fireworks and grinned at you. He was glad to be spending time with you and tilted his head at a spectacular multicolored firework above. I think that's been my favorite so far. He shot you another look and nodded, wanting you to move up closer, in front of him. You could see the night lights reflected on the water. You stood next to him. Both of you were content to watch the show side by side. You took a moment to watch him, and the fireworks reflected in his eyes. Cove grinned like a kid. Cove's gaze drifted from the show of dazzling lights straight at you, and he sighed dreamily. You didn't know you'd last seen him. What? You didn't know when you last seen him so blissful. The spectacle continued to up the ante by bringing more fireworks out at a time. The colors danced across the sky and reflected over the water. You reached out a hand and watched as it was tinted green, while a big boom sounded. Fireworks were a normal summer tradition, but this was admittedly an unconventional approach. Showing up in the city last minute to watch a display from a technically private event, that made this feel special in a way that just planning to go to a public fireworks show never would. Terry's idea may not have left you with a lot of time to prepare, but it sure led to a unique situation. It was clear this was an unforgettable night, indeed. As the finale sounded, blazing the sky with unbelievable beauty, you remembered thinking that there might never be a night exactly like this once again, not for the rest of your life. Aw, it's kinda sad. You planned to hold on to feelings you had in that moment for as long as you could. Whew, that's done. I think I'm gonna end it here. I'll make a poll to see what I should do next week, because I do need some variety, and this is going to be quite a long game to do, I've realized. Let's save again. Man, this is... I'm over saving again. It's become a habit from doing design work digitally, in case you somehow lose progress from the program crashing and stuff. Well, I'll be stopping here, or I might play something else next week, depending. I'll make a poll, and I'll make a poll on Twitter to see what I should play or do next week. So yeah, bye. Man, I forget how the chapters here are like really long. I need to stop over saving, but I can't help myself. It's become a habit.